football here. If we can get everything figured out, maybe a countdown would be great, but we're here.
Technical difficulties,
but we are live here on Sunlink Channel 112, OSU Student Radio KXUY. Break down some college football here. Obviously, the Cowboys are going down to Waco tomorrow to take on the Baylor Bears. An interesting game because the Cowboys have, they beat the number 6 team in the country,
right?
And then they go down to Waco. And a 4-4 Baylor team that's kind of, they've been beaten down a couple times, but it's not a team you probably want to play. As Robert mentioned Wednesday, a team meeting, it's homecoming, and a backup quarterback. All three recipes for disaster if you're playing the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I mean, that is just everything that Baylor could do to muster up enough to beat Oklahoma State, they're going to throw out there.
Yeah.
So without Charlie Brewer starting, obviously Jalen McClendon is starting. What do you think that means for Jim Knowles and the defense?
I think Robert said it best on Wednesday. They're going to try and get that guy on his back because, Baylor – I don't think Baylor's as explosive on offense as Texas was. I don't think they have to worry about dropping back. I think we can kind of see like one of those typical games from Calvin Bundage and those guys where, Calvin has double-digit tackles and maybe a sack. And I think that's what the defense has to do if you're Jim Knowles. You have to get the backup on his back.
Yeah, they need to create turnovers. I think they have a 33-game turnover streak. The last time they went back-to-back games without a turnover was 2002, I think.
Okay.
So there's a drought here for the Cowboys now that we haven't seen the likes of over a decade. So they need to create turnovers. I think if they play the way they did last Saturday, I think they'll be fine.
I agree.
You're worried about coming off of that high.
Yes.
And having to go play an 11 a.m. Kickoff with a 4-4 team that may not have a full stadium. So it is, it's an iffy game for the Cowboys. I think that they have enough to pull it out, but it comes down to coaching and doing everything well that they did last Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. Like Cornelius obviously has to have not as good of a game as he did last week because he had probably his best game all year last week, but he has to have a good game. Justice and Chuba have to be involved on the offensive end, kind of like they were last week. And I think Tylan Wallace at this point is fine no matter what. You know what I mean? As long as Taylor Cornelius can throw it in his direction, he's going to come down with a couple. And I think he's going to have a good game kind of regardless. But the offensive line has to play like they did in Texas.
Yeah.
That is probably the most important key on either side of the ball is the offensive line giving Justice and Chuba holes to run through and protecting Cornelius so he can get that ball to Tylan Wallace.
And I certainly think that Oklahoma State, the defensive line for the Cowboys has a legitimate chance. I think Robert said they've given up 26 sacks Baylor has through the 7 games. So there's a real big opportunity for the Cowboys to have a big day defensively in Waco. So you're taking the Cowboys?
I am. I'm not going to pick against them 2 weeks in a row, Reed. I'm not that stupid.
I think it'll be a tough game, but I think that they have enough, but I have been wrong before. Which leads me into, our college football playoff games because there is a huge weekend, especially in the SEC. The college football rankings came out this week. Obviously, Alabama 1, Clemson 2, LSU 3, and Notre Dame at 4. So we'll start with the Big 12 games, and there's some top 25 games in there as well. Number 13, West Virginia, goes down to 17, Texas. Who do you have in that one?
Got West Virginia.
Virginia.
I think you said it. Texas is back to being back to not being back. They're Texas again, kind of. We popped their bubble. I think West Virginia goes in there and takes care of business pretty easily.
I think it'll be a tough one in the first half, but I think that West Virginia in the end the score might be a little misleading.
Yeah.
But I think that West Virginia has too much firepower for the arrogance of the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah.
I think that Texas is going to get beat handily.
Do you know the line on this one?
No, I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
Well, we did it last night on a radio show, but I forgot. I think it was Texas was favored 2. 2 points, right?
Yeah, Texas by 2. So Vegas knows something I don't, obviously.
Well, they were favored last week as well.
Oh, that's true.
That didn't work out well for the Longhorns. But we both are taking West Virginia on that one. Another interesting game, a top 4 team in the college football playoff rankings is Notre Dame going to a Northwestern team by your love affair with the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan went there and almost lost. They were down most of the game. A night game. I know the smart guys from Northwestern like Darren Ravel, and it seems like every big journalist at ESPN, they love Northwestern because they went there. It is a tough place to play at night. The way they cut the grass, just the ominous – it's kind of like Kansas. the amount of people there almost staggers you at some points. Like, this is it.
The lack thereof of people.
But there will be a lot of Notre Dame fans there, a short drive from South Bend. I'm taking Northwestern to upset Notre Dame.
It's a bold pick, but I trust you more on the football stuff, so I'm going to assume you know something I don't. You see something I don't in the matchup. But I think Notre Dame is just going to play their game and control the tempo through most of the game. And I know, like you said, it's a hard place to play in Northwestern, but I just don't see Notre Dame being affected by the crowd or anything like that. I think Notre Dame's going to go in and take care of business.
What's your score prediction on that?
It's going to be a low scoring game. I would Notre Dame 21, Northwestern 14. 14 or 11, something like that.
Oh, I don't think that they can win. If they do win, I don't think they'll win by that. But
okay.
You're right. Vegas does typically know something that we don't know right now. And Notre Dame, as you said, is a 10-point favorite right now. The over-under is 53.5. I don't know if they get to the over. Not
I don't
a
think
lot
they
of
do
high-powered
either.
offenses there. But Northwestern, I mean, you looked at Wake Forest coming in this year. There's always a trap game for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And this feels like a trap game for me.
Okay.
So I'm taking Northwestern with a big upset.
Okay.
All right. Number 7 OU taking on Texas Tech down in Lubbock. They're going to be throwing tortillas on the field. Lubbock gets wild at night because there's probably nothing else to do at Texas Tech. But they're going to get crazy down there. They have Alan Bowman. They have a high-powered offense. But let's be honest.
Not as high-powered as Oklahoma.
Yeah, I don't think that they have any shot at beating OU. I think that OU will beat them by 20, 30 points. I really do.
I could see that. I mean, what did OU do to K-State last week?
Embarrassed them. I think the Texas Tech's a little bit better than K-State in all fairness. But at the end of the day, we've seen shootouts. It was 2 years ago. Baker Mayfield and the future Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes had that duel in Lubbock. And, they set all kinds of offensive records. I don't think you're going to get that from these two teams. But I do think it'll be a very high-scoring game. But in the end, Oklahoma's defense is starting to tighten up a little bit, got some better players in there.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is a 13.5-point favorite right now. The over is 77.5, which seems low for a game like that.
Yeah.
I will take OU in a second-half blowout of Texas Tech.
I would agree.
I'm really confident in what the Sooners can do. I think they're getting better, and I think they are a dark horse to be the Big 12. I'm not dark horse to beat the Big 12 champion,
but make it in the playoff.
But to make it in the college football playoff, their strength of schedule, they really need.
They need Texas to do a lot better to end the year.
They need Texas to keep winning. They need West Virginia to keep winning, and they need Oklahoma State to keep winning.
And unfortunately, one of those two teams is going to lose.
Yeah,
West Virginia or Texas this weekend.
And they're going to beat, and they have their matchup with West Virginia, which they might play twice in 2 weeks. We never know.
They better hope Texas beats West Virginia, and then we also beat West Virginia, and they beat West Virginia.
They need somebody to stick out, and Texas hasn't held up there in the deal, obviously coming to Stillwater and losing last weekend.
Right.
So Cal at Washington State, an interesting one because Washington State, obviously, they've got a great head coach, and they always have these trap games, kind of like Notre Dame, where they should win, and then they lose. But they've beaten Oregon and Stanford, one at home, one on the road. Washington State's starting to fall. They are going to have to be the darling out of the Pac-12, which the Pac-12, that Washington State's essentially like K-State being the darling in the Big 12. That's not something that you want from a money standpoint.
Right.
But they are ranked number 8 right now. The one loss to USC, which, the refs screwed Washington State on.
Yeah.
Mike Leach went out and texted the refs and criticized them. There was a whole story on that, and I think he was right. It was a bad call. But I'm going to say Washington State is going to lose this to Cal because Cal has lost some games, beat Washington last week at home.
Yeah.
They got a good young head coach. They're on their way back up. I think it'll be a close one. I'll say 10 points. I believe I said on another show 45-35.
Okay.
Cal will beat Washington State.
And I always have one game every week where I'm like, this is a trap game. I just have a feeling in my gut that this is an upset. And that was my game this week. Was California-Washington State. Kind of for all the reasons you said. That them being the darling of the Pac-12 isn't what they want. And I don't think California's good, but I don't think they're just awful. Weren't they ranked earlier in the year?
Yeah, at one point, and Oregon went down and throttled them.
Yeah. But
yeah, I mean,
they have
that's
the
what
potential.
when you're a team like Cal and you've been bad for so long and you have these opportunities, you're 5-3,
Yeah.
you're rolling by Cal standards.
Yes.
This is a huge game that you have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
You win, you look great, and you're getting talked about on ESPN College Game Day. You're going to be able to have that talk. If you lose, no one cares.
Yeah.
So you're playing for nothing here.
Yeah.
I mean, everything can go your way if you're Cal. So I think
kind of like us last week, not in terms of being as bad as they have been, but
but
where you didn't have anything to lose.
yeah, I mean, if it goes bad, I mean, we've seen it before. If it goes great, you look like the good guys.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead. We have two more Big 12 games and two top 25 games. Iowa State at Kansas. Do we really need to talk about this one?
I don't think so. That's going to be
not unless there's
it's not going to be very watchable.
Not unless there's so few people there that it actually stuns Iowa State. If there's 12 people there, according to David Beatty, that helps the Jayhawks. I don't know. But the guy's won 4 games in 5 years.
Yeah.
So I guess
he's having a good year this year.
Just let him talk. He won a game. So obviously we're taking Iowa State there. Kansas State at TCU, a battle of 3 and 5 teams. I'm taking TCU to throttle Kansas State.
I'm not going to say throttle them, but they're the home team. They've kind of struggled this year too. That was what surprised me the most.
Both 3 and 5.
Yeah, so I'm going to take TCU to win. Battle of the Purple, I think is what Robert called it. But yeah, I'm going to take TCU. I don't know if I don't think they're going to throttle them, but I think they're going to win by 10 points.
Yeah, it will certainly be interesting there. I think, kind of like we talked about with Cal. You win, it's a good win. You can't, if you lose, no
matter.
one cares. No one will talk about the game anyways, but an interesting game for the Big 12 there. All right, so Alabama, number 1, Alabama Crimson Tide at number 3, LSU.
I think this is why LSU was ranked 3rd, because they knew they were playing Alabama this week. They knew they were going to lose, and they were never going to get back into the playoff. I think it was
Logan.
I think it was a sympathy vote to get LSU in there so LSU can feel good about themselves, and LSU fans can be like, see, we're one of the best teams. And,
it would be with a very thick Cajun accent.
I was about to say, I'm not going to try and imitate
Coach O.
Yeah, I'm not going to try and be Ed Orgeron, but I think Alabama's going to destroy them.
I said a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago when LSU went down to play Florida down in Gainesville, I said that Ed Orgeron can't win big games. He's shown an ability to, I guess, win somewhat of good games.
Not Alabama.
Not Alabama. The best, probably three best talent pools in the SEC are Georgia, Alabama, and LSU, and Texas A&M will get there under Jimbo Fisher. But right now it's Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. Let's take the top 2, LSU and Alabama. They're comparable in athletes. This is the only time Alabama is going to play anybody this season where the other team is not scared of Alabama. Mm-hmm. They can compete with them physically. Nick Saban is going to beat them so bad they won't want to play next week. Yeah. Their best linebacker won't show up until the 3rd quarter because he's suspended for targeting. It is going to get embarrassing.
That's going to hurt them a lot.
Alabama's going to win by 30 points. It will be over by the 3rd quarter. Tua will not play the 4th quarter, and the Bayou Bengals will be out at the bars by the 3rd quarter. It's going to be a beatdown, and I'm not here to listen to this game of the century crap because this is not going to be a good game. Alabama is so far and away better than anyone else. It's almost not fun anymore. People want to see a good game, but you're not going to get it. Yeah. You're not going to get it. LSU's not the number 3 team in the country, and they'll prove that to you this weekend. Now, the reason we're not ending with that game is we're ending with Georgia and Kentucky. The 6th-ranked Bulldogs are taking on number 9 Kentucky. Why they're putting Kentucky at 9, I think it's like the LSU thing, a sympathy thing. I think it is a sympathy thing. We're getting the 1-minute time. We're going to go a little bit longer on this segment because we've got a lot to talk about. Yeah. Vegas knows. Georgia's 9-point favorites. Somebody around here once told me that Kroger Field, is it called, in Lexington, is one of the toughest places to play in the SEC. False. Okay? Kentucky's not a tough place to play. They're a good team. They have a good defense. They put 14 and 15 on Mizzou and Vanderbilt. What are they going to do to Georgia? Nothing. Georgia will beat them by over 20 points. Jake Fromm will have a day. It'll be tough in the first half. Kentucky's good. They're 7-1. They've got some quality wins. But at the end of the day, no one's scared at looking in Kentucky. We're not playing basketball here. I mean, some big wins for them. I'm not scared of Kentucky. But I will be able to tell you this, Logan, excuse me. I didn't mean to offend you
That's
like
okay.
that.
I forgive
So, this is for Alexis Winston. She went to Kentucky, so we will have these hats here. And Logan, if Kentucky should win, let's get these right for the cameras here.
I'll put one on right now.
Right there. And this hat and this hat. Oh, you look so good.
Yeah.
So these 3 hats, which one is your favorite?
Probably this one.
This hat right here. That hat right there. I will wear that hat
All right.
for an entire segment on Monday should Kentucky beat Georgia. I will wear this hat for an entire segment. That's how confident I am. I've never worn anything Kentucky in my life. And probably up until 10 seconds ago, you hadn't either. I will wear that hat for Alexis Winston, but I'm sorry to the Kentucky Wildcats. You will get embarrassed this weekend by Kirby Smart, Jake Fromm, and the Georgia Bulldogs. We'll be right back on One OSU Student Radio, KXUI, Sunlink, Channel 112.
Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome into One-on-One on OSU Student Radio, KXUI, Sunlink, Channel 112. As we had our NBA bump in there, Chris, but we're going NFL.
Call me Chris again.
Oh, well.
Come on, man.
Sorry, Logan. I'm sorry I keep
I let it
offending
go
you.
once.
Sorry I keep offending you, but segment 2, we're doing NFL. So that's what we're doing here. As we try to get everything figured out on a jumbled Friday, it's like we're doing our first show here. We're trying to figure stuff out, but we're getting there. We're going to go some game predictions, then we're going to get in some fantasy football, and we have time some other headlines in the NFL. Some coaches are just saying some outlandish stuff, and we're going to talk about it, which is why
Former
they say those
coaches,
things.
too.
Yeah, former coaches, current coaches, interim coaches, they're all saying a bunch of crap that I can't understand why they're saying it. But we'll start with our game predictions, and we're going to start with the Kansas City Chiefs at the Cleveland Browns, talking about one of those coaches that was fired.
Yes.
Kansas City's going to Cleveland for a noon kickoff. I'm telling you, Cleveland's going to win this game.
Bro. What?
Listen to me.
How can you say that?
I can say this with, and I'm being serious here. This is not my superstition thing. I really think that Cleveland is going to win the game Sunday.
You can't even. You have to laugh.
Liam's in shock behind the camera.
Everyone is. Everyone should be.
Listen to my theory here.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield and that team, they've been through such crap, and they're probably excited to see Hugh Jackson get kicked out the door. Okay, Greg Williams, their interim head coach, is a nutcase.
Okay.
You see, I mean, he's barking on the HBO show Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
He's a motivator.
Uh-huh.
Even if he has to pay players to be motivated, aka he got suspended for Bountygate.
Yep.
He is a motivator. They will play motivated this weekend. They will catch the Chiefs off guard. There's a lot of talent in Cleveland. Those guys like John Dorsey, their GM, who was fired by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
The Browns will take this game extra personal for John Dorsey, and they will take it personal for having their coach fired this week. They will play motivated, and they will beat the Chiefs by 10 points in Cleveland this weekend.
Okay. Well, you can say that, I guess. But
I can.
I'm gonna come back to you with something different. Patrick Mahomes is a future Hall of Famer, as you've been saying for a couple weeks.
Basically already is, Logan.
Yeah, I mean, he has Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Andy Reid, but I mean, I don't know. They're gonna lose to Cleveland by 10. Baker Mayfield has a QBR of 37.4, but they're gonna win by 10. Hugh Jackson's a freaking nut job. That organization's been a dumpster fire for
since
a
they
decade.
came back to Cleveland.
Yeah, like they've been terrible forever. And Reid,
I'm telling you,
you're
Logan,
trying to reverse psychology this so hard that so the Chiefs actually win by 100.
I really think that Cleveland will win this game Sunday. I really do.
Reid, I want to help you out. I just want to make you feel better. Baker Mayfield has 8 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, a QBR of 37.4, and in losses, he has a completion percentage of 56 and a quarterback rating of 75. So, I mean,
they're going to institute more quick slants, run an OU type offense.
Isn't the interim guy a defensive coach? Isn't that his?
Yes, and they just hired a new offensive coordinator. I don't know what's going on.
That's not going to work.
I'm telling you, this is a trap game for Kansas City. Cleveland will win this game on Sunday.
Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for 500 yards. I'm calling it.
I hope so.
500 yards.
I mean, I hope the
and 6
Chiefs
touchdowns.
win, but I'm telling you right now, on Monday, like you did this last Monday, you can say, "Wow, Reid, I can't believe you were right." You can make another intro for me.
I will. I'll wear. I don't know. I'll find something to wear. You're gonna wear the Kentucky hat. I'll wear something.
Well, I will not be wearing the Kentucky hat because Kentucky won't win. Steelers at Ravens.
Okay. This one we agree on.
Yes, we're taking Pittsburgh.
Yes.
The Ravens started up here. The Steelers started up here. They were here. Now they're here.
Yeah.
Steelers easy.
I agree.
Easy. After losing to the Ravens at home, Steelers easy. By the way, the Ravens defensive coordinator saying that they're better off without Le'Veon Bell.
This
is the guy who also said that Mayfield was the next John Elway. So,
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, wait. Did he mean the Ravens were better off without
No.
Le'Veon Bell?
He should have.
I think that's what he meant.
He should have.
Yeah.
The Texans at the Broncos. Demaryius Thomas gets traded.
Boo.
And his
2 thumbs
first
down.
game as a Houston Texan is against the Denver Broncos in Denver. He probably didn't even have to leave Denver this week. He's just been chilling in his house.
That'd be nice.
Weird game for him.
For sure.
I'm taking the Texans.
I am too. I'm telling you, Justin Herbert is coming to Denver, and that journey continues with this loss on Sunday. I'm probably the only Broncos fan in the country rooting for us to lose double-digit games, but I am excited for the future where Case Keenum is not my quarterback, even though Case Keenum is the best quarterback we've had since Peyton Manning, and I love him for that.
Is that really saying much, though?
No, it's not, and that's the sad thing. I mean,
I think Trevor Siemian has been the best quarterback you had.
that is so offensive, Reid.
Is it, though?
Yeah.
Chad Kelly, Paxton Lynch, Case Keenum, Trevor Siemian.
That's really offensive.
Good. I meant it to offend you.
That is. Riley's hungry over there.
I mean, Trevor Siemian has the best win percentage of any of those quarterbacks since he left.
Yeah.
I think he was like 7-9.
Yeah, it wasn't
I mean,
great. But
compared to this, give him the gold jacket. So you're taking the Texans as well.
I am. Like you said, Demaryius Thomas was a stand-up guy for Denver, did a lot of good stuff for Denver, helped us win a Super Bowl. I wish him all the best in Houston, and I hope they throw out the Broncos so we get a better draft position.
Hope he didn't drop his suitcase getting it off the conveyor belt at the airport, considering he dropped everything else in the last 2 years.
Another shot, Reid.
Hey, he's a Texan now.
Yeah.
Chargers at Seahawks. The Chargers are only 1 game behind the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chargers in Seattle. I don't think Seattle's getting better as the year's progressing, But I think Phillip Rivers and their defense is getting really good for the Chargers. And they don't even have Bosa back yet. I'm taking the Chargers in a narrow victory over the Seahawks.
I agree. Seattle's probably the team that surprised me the most for where I had them. I had them being one of the worst teams in the NFL, but they turned out to be not good, but good enough. They're decent. And I think, like you said, at home, they're going to play the Chargers close, but that Chargers roster is so good.
Yes, the Chargers roster is good. I'm taking the Chargers as well. Two of the biggest games in the league this weekend, Rams at Saints. I'm taking the Saints. The Rams have been messing with losing.
Yeah.
They've been messing around trying to lose these games, it feels like, the past couple weeks. I think that, Brandon Cooks coming home to New Orleans, his former team, I think the Saints, they overwhelm that depleted Rams defense right now. A lot of talent on that defense, but they haven't been up to par with their talent level. I'm taking Drew Brees and the Saints.
Okay, I'm going with the Rams. I'm using the same approach, but I'm getting a different outcome. They have been trying to lose games lately, but I think that game in Green Bay, I think that woke them up. I think they realized until Ty Montgomery fumbled that ball, they were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that would have been lost.
We just gave the ball to Aaron Rodgers with 2 minutes left. We're done.
Luckily, Ty Montgomery, the now Redskin, not the Redskins. They traded Clinton Dix to the Redskins. He's a Raven now, Ty Montgomery. So a weird situation there. Speaking of Ty Montgomery and the Packers, Green Bay is heading out to New England to take on the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. Let's settle that debate real quickly. People that want to say Aaron Rodgers, probably more talented than Tom Brady, but I'll give you 4 reasons why he's better than Aaron Rodgers. Super Bowl 2, 3, 4, and 5 is why he's the greatest of all time. So I'm taking the Patriots in an easy win over the Packers in New England.
I'm taking Green Bay just because I think I'm trusting Aaron Rodgers to go out there, not to prove that he's better than Tom Brady, but to avenge what he didn't get to do last week, and that's win a football game. The defense is going to be a struggle for both teams. New England doesn't have a great defense, and I think Green Bay messed up their defense pretty bad, giving away Clinton Dix. I thought he was better for them than most people, but I'm picking Green Bay because I just like Aaron Rodgers. It's hard for me to pick against Aaron Rodgers.
So we have
a hornet flying around. That's why everyone's giving it a little.
So we have
look.
our fantasy football to get into really quickly. We only have a couple minutes, so we won't go in super in detail.
Okay.
But I'm going to run down the list of everyone I want to start, and you can do so as well. At quarterback, I want to start Cam Newton against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is struggling right now, so I think you have good opportunity there. And Mitch Trubisky because they're playing Buffalo. If they're playing the Bills, start everyone playing the Bills. Nick Chubb against Kansas City, not a very good run defense. I like him there. Adrian Peterson will break down eventually, but not this week against Atlanta. And I am taking Sammy Watkins against the Browns. I think he'll have a good game. Brandon Cooks against his former team, the Saints, is going to have a big one. At tight end, David Njoku and Greg Olsen will both have solid games at the tight end position.
I'm starting Patrick Mahomes because he's obviously the new GOAT. And Cam Newton, like you said, Tampa Bay struggles. Adrian Peterson, James White, Brandon Cooks, Devontae Adams, O.J. Howard, and Greg Olsen.
Oh, man.
That hornet is...
They're all flying around making everyone nervous.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go into sit him really quickly. Case Keenum, why? Because he's not very good against a very good Houston defense. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, either Fitzpatrick's going to throw for 600 yards and they're going to win by 20, or they're going to have to bench him halfway through the first quarter for the third string because they already benched their other quarterback, Jameis Winston. So set Case Keenum and Ryan Fitzpatrick if they're at your quarterback position. And if you have them, shame on you. Alex Collins and Kerryon Johnson are running back. I don't see Alex Collins having much against the Steelers. That Ravens offense, they're kind of sputtering. And Kerryon Johnson against a very good Minnesota defense, especially a run defense. Amari Cooper probably hadn't learned the offense yet. That's not a slight. I really don't think he's probably very comfortable with that offense yet, and they can't throw the ball anyways. And Randall Cobb against New England, I mean, they just shut guys down. They always take the best guy out. That's what New England does. San Antonio Gates, because he's 95 years old, he needs a walker to get off the plane. And Austin Hooper, also not going to have a very big game.
Going through mine really quick, Phillip Rivers, Marcus Mariota, Alex Collins for the same reasons you had, Deion Lewis, Deshaun Jackson. I don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to have a great game, so that's going to limit him. Keenan Allen, Rob Gronkowski's shot. He's washed. I'm sorry, guys. He's washed. It's over. He is no longer a great fantasy tight end. He might be a good run blocker still, but he's not a good fantasy tight end. No touchdowns since week 1. And then Jordan Reed. Those are my sits.
Rob Gronkowski, it's done.
It's sad.
It's done. 1 touchdown this year. I mean, his body is breaking down. I want to get into the John Gruden comments and Hugh Jackson, all that stuff in the last segment when we have time.
Okay.
But we're going to take a quick break here on a one-on-one OSU Student Radio KXUI Sunlink Channel 112.
Tinker FCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back into One-on-One on OSU Student Radio KXUY, Sunlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Moser. It's time to get into your favorite sport, Logan. Is NBA over yet?
No, it's just starting and it's awesome.
You know, when
I saw the Open, that's Derrick Rose.
You know,
that's not 2011 Derrick Rose. That was 2
They
days
might
ago.
as well put the NBA on what's the entertainment tonight? Is it the E channel? Where they house the housewives shows. It's all drama. Put the NBA on MTV because it feels like it's a bunch of high schoolers causing drama. I mean, I can't stand the amount of pettiness in this league. I can't stand it.
I'm here for it.
Oh my!
I love it.
It's all
awesome.
right. Well, we'll start with some good news.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose dropped 50 points
Career high
against the Jazz. I mean, we're turning back the clock to 2011. Logan, I know that you know how old Derrick Rose is, but I'll open up the questions to people. I'll throw it to Liam behind the camera over there. Liam, how old do you think Derrick Rose is?
Like 29, 30-ish.
He feels like he's 55 to me. It
knees
feels
of
like
a
he's been
50-year-old.
around forever. It feels like we've been on this downhill slide forever. It was nice to see him get 50 points, but he's going to need to be stretchered off the court. Can he even play again?
Okay, this is the first year since like 2011 he's been healthy all summer, no nagging injuries. I think he had a great summer, and I'm not saying he can be a starter and give you like 50 points more than once. Like, I think he's kind of turned into a guy that can give you a solid 27, 28 minutes off the bench. I think Derrick Rose has transformed himself into a guy that can play in today's NBA.
Well, here's the problem.
He
plays for Tom Thibodeau.
Yes.
So his body, healthy or not, had he never had an injury up until this point, he's going to break down. Tom Thibodeau cannot keep anyone healthy for 82 games.
Karl-Anthony Towns, crossing my fingers, has not missed a game yet.
We're 8 games into this season.
But he hasn't missed a game at all.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see. I mean, seriously, I think it was awesome to see him doing that.
Yeah.
His first time scoring more than 40 since that MVP season. He's averaging 18.8 points, the most since that MVP season.
That's a little boosted by the 50. You know
well,
what I mean?
yeah. But, I mean, it's great to see him. But, I mean, Derrick Rose is not going to have an MVP year.
No.
I mean, you hate to play the devil's advocate on this stuff because it is a cool story. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to say, okay, can you do it again? I mean, Clay and Steph could go out and do that
Yeah.
2 times a week and not think twice about it.
Right. But I don't think Derrick Rose has to be that kind of guy anymore.
No, he doesn't have to be, but I think that's what the NBA is desperate for Derrick Rose to be, because they always are desperate for these storylines.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his is so unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going from MVP in his, fourth year in the league, youngest MVP ever, and it gets derailed
Yeah.
by terrible injury after terrible injury. This is a special case of an injured guy that they want to be successful. And I mean, you saw it on Instagram and Twitter. LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Vince Carter, all the other guys in the league were super happy to see that because they know what kind of guy he is and how much work he's put in. But yeah, I think they want him to be that kind of guy again, but he never will be. Obviously,
not for the Timberwolves at least.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think he can turn back the
Yeah.
clock that much to do that. But we're happy to see him do that. Obviously,
Yeah.
a cool story there, and against a good Jazz team, by
Right.
the way, a good defensive Jazz team. Now let's go back to the petty wars.
Okay.
Where J.R. Smith is going to get fined because
Yes.
he said to a reporter that he wanted to be traded. That's against the CBA.
Yes,
so
it's detrimental to the league.
I don't know how much he's going to be fined.
I think Eric Bledsoe got $10,000 for his "I don't want to be here anymore" tweet. Do you remember that from a year ago?
Yeah.
So I think it'd be similar to that. I think it'd be around 10,000, and he's still getting fined for the tattoo.
So J.R. Smith's such
He's an interesting guy.
Marcus Smart should have finished that guy when he had the chance. Does anyone want J.R. Smith?
No one should, but he's a shooter, so he has value.
Now, I will come to the defense of J.R. Smith on one thing. People talk about this not knowing the score thing. LeBron called a timeout a week ago without any timeouts, but didn't get called for it.
Yeah.
So maybe LeBron is just as guilty for not knowing these clutch things as J.R. Smith. But LeBron never threw soup at anybody. But
Yeah.
J.R. Smith's a nightmare. I mean,
Yes.
no one's going to want to trade for him. He is a shooter, but he's not worth it.
No, he's not. He's a terrible defender now, and he's not even as good of a shooter as he used to be. It's hard to find a position like if the Wizards didn't have Bradley Beal, they would love this kind of dysfunction, a guy like this to bring into the locker room, because they seem to feed off of that with the feud that the teammates have, and then adding Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
I think they just like dysfunction in there, but I mean, I don't think the Thunder will do it, but the Thunder could possibly benefit from a guy like J.R. Smith, just his shooting, because I think they're the worst three-point shooting team in the league still.
If J.R. Smith messes up like he did in the finals in a moment with Russell Westbrook,
Oh yeah,
Russell Westbrook might end the guy.
yeah,
Russell Westbrook's not going to put up with that.
yeah.
But speaking of locker room problems, let's say J.R. Smith gets traded to Houston, where James Harden's missing his third straight game tonight. The Rockets are struggling. They've only got one win.
Yeah.
They've lost to the Clippers twice, one by 3 points, I think the other by 19. What's going on in Houston?
They're having a lot of trouble. Well, one of their lead assistants, the guy that was kind of the one that revolutionized their defense last season, is gone. I can't remember where he got hired to, but that obviously shows they are a terrible defensive team again because Mike D'Antoni is back to his old ways. And you've lost James Harden to injury past couple of games. I think he's missed past 4 games. That's not going to help, obviously, but I think not. I'm not going to blame it on Melo, but Melo wasn't the answer. Everyone knew that going in. Adding Melo is not going to make you better. They lose Trevor Ariza. They lose Luke Mbah-a-Moute. Those guys were 2 key pieces for them last year in their success, and it's just not going to work. I think I said it early on, but their window closed. When they lost Game 7 or whatever it was Game 6 to the Warriors, their championship window officially closed. That's how it is in sports. You have to capitalize quickly, and they almost did, but at the end of the day, Chris Paul got hurt. They missed it. I don't think they're ever going to be in another great chance to win a championship. I think it's over, and now they're stuck with old Chris Paul for a long time. That's basically what their struggles are.
So you're trying to tell me that adding Carmelo Anthony didn't magically make everything better?
Shocker, it didn't help.
Who would have thought that could happen,
I know.
Logan? Who would have thought?
Everyone that lives here, everyone that lives in this area knew.
But they are struggling nonetheless.
Yes.
Do you think that they will make the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. I don't think they're not a playoff team. I still think they're going to win a lot of games in the regular season just because that's what Mike D'Antoni has always done.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Suns, they always won a lot of games. Even in New York, they won a lot of games while he was there until he ultimately clashed with Carmelo Anthony and left. but
who is on his team again.
yeah.
Shocker. They couldn't win for the Knicks.
Right, and I mean, he's a great regular season coach.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the skills to turn it around in the playoffs. I think they'll be one of the top 3 seeds in the West still. I know we're only
top
9
3.
We're only 9 games in.
But Logan, I mean, the injuries. Chris Paul has always got injuries. James Harden's now injury prone. Oh, he's always been injury prone.
Well, they didn't play a lot of games together last year.
That's true.
They just happened to not be hurt at the same time.
Yeah.
So they were able to win a lot.
That is very true.
I think if you have Chris Paul, some combination of Chris Paul and Clint Capella or James Harden and Clint Capella, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like you said, we're only 9 games in, but you want to get this stuff fixed as fast as possible. Last night, the Celtics made 24 threes and beat the only undefeated team left in the NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes.
How good do you think this Celtics team can be?
Really good.
That good.
Their bench is a really good starting 5 in most cases.
Have they widened the gap to what you thought, the gap between the 76ers and the Celtics? It was pretty close last year. Is it a lot wider now?
Yeah, I wasn't very high on the Sixers last year, and I'm still not super high. I think I picked them to be the 5th seed in the East when we did our predictions. But, yeah, the gap is definitely wider because, I mean, you get another year of everyone, and everyone's healthy so far this year. You haven't lost anyone for a season, and they only played a quarter and a half before that happened last year. The Boston Celtics are going to figure it out eventually. They've kind of had some, like Kyrie and Al Horford kind of started slow to start the year when Kyrie had that fro and he got the haircut, and people are saying the haircut fixed Kyrie, but I think they're going to figure it out and be a really, really good team, easily the 1st seed, and they're going to go to the finals, and they're going to play the Warriors tougher than everyone thinks.
Not true.
I think they are.
Not true. Speaking of the Warriors, Steve Kerr is pretty honest most of the time. He dives into politics. He's honest with his players. He's honest to the media, which is refreshing to see a lot of times. He said, hey, listen, Boogie knows we're not going to be able to sign him next year. He knows that, but we're going to help him get a ring. Do you have a problem with that statement at all?
No. I mean, it's the truth. Like you said, he's honest.
And, I mean, you can't be shocked that some people have a problem with what he's saying. I mean, people get offended by everything, especially in the sports world.
That's true.
But, and this is just kind of something I wrote down here, and it was because of what happened this week with Clay, Steph, and KD going 40 points apiece in I think it was 4 games. Are they the best offense ever?
They're the best team ever. They're one of the best defensive teams every year, and they are easily the best offensive team ever. Like you said, Clay goes for 40, or he went for 50, right? 52?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant went for 41 in the Garden. Steph Curry went for 50 the other night. You can't stop them. If you stop one of them, the other 2 are still going to go. I mean, they're just so good. They have so many guys that can do it all, that can dribble, pass, and shoot. It's hard to stop all 3 of these guys. And then even Draymond can have like 20 points every now and again and be a really good contributor. It's hard to think of another team that had this much offensive firepower. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When do you think DeMarcus Cousins will be back?
He's on track. He's practicing. He's in like controlled practices with them now. He's doing controlled drills. So I would say beginning of the new year, beginning of 2019, maybe the end of January. But that's the thing. They don't have to have him back ever. Like, they're fine without him. So when you add him, it's just not fair.
So they don't have the money to sign him.
Yes.
Anthony Davis comes back and says he can hope he returns to the Pelicans, which is weird because Anthony Davis is going to be in L.A. at the end of the day. But do you think he has a real chance to return to the Pelicans? Do you think he wants to return to the Pelicans?
That's a tough one because, no one offered him the contract.
No one wants
Well, actually, the Pelicans did offer him an extension. It just wasn't the max what he wanted. So, I don't know. I could see it. It depends if Anthony Davis is even there at the end of the day.
I don't know. Getting that LeBron's agent,
But you got to think if guys want to go play with LeBron anymore because, Jimmy Butler didn't list him, the Lakers on his list. Kawhi Leonard reports have come out, he kind of favors the Clippers instead of the Lakers. Which is because it's all about winning, Reed. I could go on and on about that. But, I mean, you see these young guys like Clay, they say no chance Clay leaves Golden State for L.A. Durant has no interest in L.A. I don't think a lot of younger guys want to play with LeBron, which is weird.
but I don't think that these guys have seen L.A. At L.A.'s peak.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lakers haven't been of course, they've been the Showtime Lakers since the 80s.
Yeah.
But, like, that everyone's always going to the Laker games, but, the Staples Center can be a mecca.
Right.
I mean, a lot of teams play there, but, when the Lakers are good, LA's all about the Lakers. They're not a Rams team, Chargers team, Kings team, Dodgers team. They're a Lakers team.
Yeah.
And they're probably one of the only teams in LA that doesn't have bandwagon fans. So I think once players start to see what LeBron can do with that culture, maybe people will be turned on by it. By the way, I don't like the Ball family. We can't stand LeVar Ball here on 101. But Lonzo's playing really well in place of Rajon Rondo.
He has, and I figured that would kind of happen as the year went on. He would kind of win the job and fit in better with LeBron because he doesn't need the ball like Rondo does because Rondo flat out can't shoot. And Lonzo can't shoot great either, but yeah, he worked on it, Reed.
No, he needs to work on it some more. Well, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and get into some headlines from around all of sports this week. You're watching 101 on OSU Student Radio, KCY, Sunlink, Channel 112.
Brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They're also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome into 101 on OSU Student Radio KCY's Sunlink Channel 112. Live from Studio 318, I am Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Mosier. As always, first off, Logan, did Gronk ruin championship parades in Boston by catching a beer and chugging it? Because now Red Sox fans are just going over Alex Cora. They broke the World Series trophy.
Yeah,
this
was
not
a good
bad parade for the Red Sox because a fan was arrested for hitting Alex Cora with a beer.
Yeah.
But that beer did not just hit him and all of a sudden make the Red Sox petty, immature, and inferior to the New York Yankees.
There it is.
There,
broke it.
Right there.
Gosh.
A flag right off. I love it. A flag right off the there.
Slow-mo.
Boom.
Oh, that's so bad.
Got him. It's a Yankees fan in disguise.
It was Colicchio.
Jason Colicchio was in Boston throwing beers at the World Series trophy.
Good job, Colicchio. Good throw.
I mean, that was a total mess. I mean, but Boston does Boston things.
Yeah.
But Alex Cora, and it's the same thing we addressed on Monday. They are in Dodger Stadium chanting, Yankees suck, Yankees suck. Alex Cora, and they're playing New York, while they're pouring champagne on each other. Alex Cora is in the parade, and he gets on the microphone and says, well, we scored 16 runs in Yankee Stadium. Suck on that or something.
The World Series wasn't in Yankee Stadium.
You won the World Series championship. How expensive is the real estate in Boston Heads? Because somebody's got to buy it because the Yankees own it. They beat them in the ALDS and in the World Series celebration in the locker room. The fans in Dodger Stadium. The championship parade. Just enjoy. It's your fourth one in 14 years.
Yeah.
You are the most dominant sports city
of the 21st century.
In the world.
Yeah.
And you can't get the New York Yankees out of your mind. It is astonishing to me why they can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. But some fun news there, talking about that stuff.
And, it wasn't just the trophy that got hit. A high schooler went, and she got hit in the face by a beer.
Now, that's just a cool story. I mean,
they were throwing beer at everyone. I don't think Gronk ruined parades, but
he certainly didn't help them.
Yeah.
All right. So some serious news that we're going to get into. DJ Durkin was reinstated on Tuesday, fired on Wednesday. The Board of Regents, James Brady, has resigned. The president of the school, as he will retire at the end of the academic year.
It's good.
Maryland is an absolute disaster. They are an embarrassment to college athletics.
Yeah.
They should all be ashamed of yourself. I said this on the radio show I do that the Board of Regents at the University of Maryland was the biggest spineless, gutless cowards I've ever seen in my life. Why they recommended that DJ Durkin be reinstated, I have no idea. They ended up doing the right thing by firing him. A young man lost his life.
Yes.
Jordan McNair is not coming back. And that is the reality of it all. His teammates watched it happen. He was in the ICU for 2 weeks. His parents, they're not...
Yeah.
The fact that he was reinstated is the most amount of disrespect that comes from that decision. They are tone deaf, they are clueless, and eventually they got it right. But they got it right because the public wasn't going to accept DJ Durkin. The players weren't going to accept DJ Durkin. Why, Logan?
Yeah.
Why did it take the public to have to do that? Why can't the Board of Regents get it right in the first place?
Because it's not about what's right. It's about the money.
But is bringing DJ Durkin back, is that right for money?
No, I'm sure it's not, but I'm sure the buyout was
$5 million. I think he's due 3 of it by December 31st.
Yeah. It's sickening that he was reinstated and had to. It's sad that we had to wait a day for him to be fired because he should have just not been reinstated. He should have just been fired, let go. That's it. End of story. And another deal, Maryland. The campus police had to investigate a fight between 2 players during football practice on Tuesday.
Between the punter and the kicker.
Yeah.
They are fist fighting. I just said the police were called.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate. I hope.
And you know what? This team beat Texas. I had to throw that in there.
They did beat Texas, and I hope, and we talked about that, with their ability to beat Texas might have been due to the emotion that they were playing with. Maybe they beat Michigan State tomorrow on emotion. I don't know. But I hope that they have a full stadium tomorrow. I hope that people come out to support them. DJ Durkin, and I don't like that Matt Canada is the interim coach. I mean, you have to have somebody, but I don't think you should hire him.
No.
He was on staff when this happened.
You have to go out. You have to go out of whatever you have whenever you look for a new hire. Honestly, I don't want to say everyone on the staff should have been fired, but
I think they will be at the end of the year. They got a clean house.
Yeah.
They have to get rid of these people.
Training staff, doctors, coaches, whatever.
Gotta go.
They gotta go. And it's unfortunate for the rest of the guys on this team because they're our age, and
they watched their friend die.
Yeah, they watched a teammate and a friend die, and then they have to be involved in all this other stuff, and
it gets dragged into politics.
Yeah.
TV shows. Obviously we're not the biggest thing in the world, but ESPN's picked it up. Fox Sports. It's in every major newspaper and publication. It's just not fair to them or the university, and they got it wrong, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Eventually got it right, but a lot of things to work on at Maryland. a couple things that I want to talk about before we get out of here is who is most clueless. And I'm going to give you three options. Greg Williams said that he had been offered 11 head coaching jobs. 4 just show up. He didn't even have to interview, just show up and sign the contract. Okay. What do you think of that? Okay. John Gruden says that, everyone, he's been getting phone calls because people are lining up to play for the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
And then he says at the end, we're building a championship football team and people are going to want to play here. Okay. And then number 3 is Hugh Jackson saying he wasn't fired because of his spats and disagreements with Todd Haley, but because it was about Baker Mayfield and not doing enough for him. Those 3 guys, Hugh Jackson,
John
Gruden, and Greg Williams. Who is the most clueless?
It's got to be John Gruden, right? I know the other 2. I know Browns. Hugh Jackson, I know he got fired. It's got to be John Gruden's not building a championship team.
He's got
People
a lot of
don't want
first
to
round.
play for him. He's trading everyone.
He's lined up. They've got the highest chance to win the first overall pick. I say win like that's a
They're
going to
suck and get it. That's not a win. They're going to lose their way to the first overall pick.
That'll give them, I think, what 3 first-round picks?
Yeah, and how good are they at drafting guys?
That is the problem.
They're not good at that.
Yeah, John Gruden, he's all about these 1990 style of play, and it's just not working for John Gruden. So you would say out of all these,
the fact that he got hired and has such a big contract that they can't fire him, it actually angers me a little bit,
Yeah, $90 million they would owe him.
Oh my
right
gosh.
now. $95 million they would owe him to walk out.
Oh,
the
and all
door
he's
right
done
now.
is trade Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
And won a game against the Browns.
So I'm gonna.
That's awful.
I hope they're bad for 50 years. I hope.
How is that worth $10 million?
Oh my! The Oakland Raiders are so clueless. Hey, he saves money. Mark Davis saves money on his haircuts. So
that's good.
So he's gonna be all right. So I will ask you this, and I hope you get this right. Who's the happiest defense in the NFL right now?
Who's the happiest?
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me like a list of 3?
Nope. I want you to get
I'm gonna
this
guess
right.
Chicago. Yeah, just because they got Khalil Mack.
No. Why are the Bears the happiest right now? It's who they're playing.
Oh, do they play the Bills?
And who's starting for the Buffalo Bills?
Is it Nathan Peterman?
Nathan Peterman
that
is
guy should
starting
also
for
not
the
have a
Buffalo Bills this week. The Fuller, Khalil Mack, everyone on that defense.
Khalil Mack's gonna have a field day. He's gonna have like 2 pick sixes, a scoop and
Over
score.
under on Peterman interceptions 3.
Over.
Oh my gosh.
Over.
Oh, it's so bad. So Nathan Peterman is starting. It's going to be a wonderful weekend in sports. Obviously, the Cowboys take on the Baylor Bears at 11 o'clock tomorrow. You've been watching 101 on Ocean Student Radio KXUI, Sunlink Channel 112. We will see you Monday.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
Cast for Crazy to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique.